Times were tough when I was little. We lived in a very modest environment. We were poor, and I was 10 years old when my dad left, so pretty young to take that on. That childlike longing of like never feeling loved enough, that's formed me. Another thing was my cousin passing away in that car accident. I think I lost my faith. I lost my childhood. As I kind of went through school, I thought, how is it that I could help people? How is it that I could really help people? And I love to talk. That kind of blend of helping people and talking kind of led me to psychology. So I'm a psychotherapist in private practice. I've been working for over a decade, and my leaning is transpersonal. So the transpersonal approach is where you have kind of psychology blending with metaphysics or spirituality. Training as a professional psychotherapist or professional counselor gave me the skills I needed to look after myself as well. I've had a food addiction probably since I was about 16. I'll tell somebody that I have depression. I'll tell somebody that I had a food addiction because it could happen to anyone. When a suicidal client used to come to me before, I would feel a little worried, like I wasn't sure what to do. Now, when a person's suicidal, I can understand it. Somebody came to me and they felt sad and they felt they didn't really like themselves and they didn't really feel purpose for their life. Before talking about, the big thing, the divine presence, I would actually have them start looking at their best self. Now, that's a spiritual principle. But I don't need to call it spirituality. I absolutely believe spirituality can give hope and connection to people, but how we talk about spirituality has to be with what the client understands it to be. We understand that the human being is made up of certain elements, and there's certain elements that we can actually change a little bit or tweak a little bit to have different outcomes. By changing, for example, an action, right, doing something a little bit differently than you would normally do it, suddenly some new thoughts might come out of that, which leads to some new feelings, which leads to some new sensations in the body. For me, what's really interesting is the stories that people tell about their lives, the stories that people tell about themselves. How can we make that a story of empowerment and choice rather than a story of this awful thing that has happened to me? And at the end, when I have a graduation session with people, we do a timeline and we say, where are you now and where are you headed and what are the what are the little steps to get there? And we identify some of those things. So therapy, the conclusion, the graduation isn't the end. It's now the beginning of them going into their world, feeling empowered, feeling strong, feeling like they have ownership of their life again. If I was talking to somebody who themselves felt wounded, right? Didn't feel like they had their stuff together yet, and they were thinking about joining this profession, I would say dive in. Because what you learn as you go through will help you, and your life experiences will end up helping your clients. It's okay that you've had trauma. It's okay that you've had a hard time. That's actually going to probably be better because you'll get where people are coming from in a whole different way. Because I know what I needed when I was hurting and no one gave it to me. So if I can give that to someone. And I get emotional just talking about it. One of the things I tell my students when I'm teaching is that you might start feeling like the world is an awful place because the stories that you're going to hear are about awful things. But remember, you're only seeing people in a tiny slice of their life. What I want to teach them is about how do you be with someone, present, authentic, and still be really listening for certain things to help guide a conversation.